The Curse of Strahd is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned. Hello everybody, welcome back to Curse of Strahd. My name's Dave, your humble dungeon master, and I'm excited to jump back into another session here with the Superior Adventurers Guild. Let's meet our adventurers. Let's meet our superior adventurers. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, what's up?
I am
Hey.
sitting here tonight with Andy, who's playing Corben Brindel, a half-elf Paladin, Oath of Vengeance. And we've got Bjorn Ironhide, played by Ben. Bjorn is a Path of the Totem Barbarian who recently joined our party in search of glory. And then, of course, we have Mara Brightwood, played by Shannon. Mara is a Cleric of the Light, human, big heart, big plans, and eager to get the hell out of Barovia, I would assume. But before that happens, we've got much to do, my friends. Let's jump in real quick into a recap here of our last session. So in our last session, the party had returned to Argynvost Holt with the dragon's skull, intent on fulfilling Corben's oath to relight the beacon. Upon arriving at the stronghold, the party was met by a host of revenants, led by Vladimir Horngard, who had himself sworn an oath of vengeance against Corben and his companions for a fight that happened earlier in the campaign. Ultimately, the party was successful in defeating the corrupted knights and pushed forward into Argynvost's mausoleum to place the dragon's skull in its rightful resting place. And as Bjorn did place the skull among the bones of Argynvost, the stone floor began to shift and tremble beneath their feet, and a bright white-green light erupted within the mausoleum, bathing the heroes in its brilliance before it darted out to the door outside of the mausoleum, stone crumbling from the top of the stronghold's tower as a eruption of light blasted upwards from the towering spire, pulsing a glow illuminating the valley like the beacon of a lighthouse and cutting through the mists surrounding the stronghold. Before them stood a huge dragon shimmering in a bright silver aura, Argynvost. The noble dragon thanked Corben and his companions for honoring their oath to relight the beacon, addressing the Paladin as Sir Brindel, noble knight of the Order of the Silver Dragon. The spirits of Vladimir Horngard and his knights rose to honor the heroes, thanking them for clearing the darkness from their eyes and from their hearts. Then the knights and Argynvost ascended into the light and disappeared. Weary from their battle, the party rested. The following morning, Muriel, their companion, took her leave. And as the party stepped from the stronghold, they were met by a black carriage drawn by two black horses. The door of the carriage swinging open to reveal only an envelope. Turns out it was an invitation from Count Strahd von Zarovich to join him at Castle Ravenloft for dinner. Possibly against their better judgment, the party accepted the invitation by piling into the carriage, the door closing behind them. And with a snort of the stallions, the carriage lurched forwards towards Ravenloft. And that, my friends, is where we find ourselves at the beginning of this session. You have set out from Argynvost, riding in the black carriage. The soft satin cushions of the passenger benches inside the dark carriage offer a comfortable contrast to the hard stone floor upon which you slept the previous night. And as the carriage lurches forward, pulled by two hell-driven horses, there's no driver, you notice right away. You watch the snow-covered landscape start to speed by. Quickly, the stallions close the distance between Argynvost and the forest, approaching at breakneck speed. And one of you, poking your head just slightly out the window, you see the Svalich woods looming, larger and larger, coming towards you. The narrow pathway that you remember traversing a couple of different times, a very small footpath, and you wonder, how is this carriage going to fit through this impenetrable wall almost of forest? Impossible for a carriage of any size, and by all accounts, it starts to look as though the carriage is going to slam right into the forest wall. But at the last second, as you start to pull your head back into the carriage, you almost see as the forest sort of parts and the path widens, the trees almost moving aside to allow for the carriage to pass. You find yourself deep in the Svalich woods, traveling again at a fast pace. The woods flying by on either side. Faster than any carriage ride you've ever been in before. And the three of you are sitting there in this empty carriage, just kind of bouncing as it bumps and jumps along the pathway. And you guys have some time if you want to sort of have a conversation about what's going on and what lies ahead.
Listen, guys, we don't have much time. We're going really fast. And you haven't been, I don't think either one of you have been in the presence of Strahd. He's going to mess with your mind. So listen to me. Please don't accept any gifts from this guy at all. He's going to try to pit us against each other. Don't let him. And he's going to try to lure us to the dark side. So be really, really careful. He's going to make things up. And I think that it would be wise of us to play to his pride. I think it'd be wise of us to be most interested in leaving Barovia, regardless of what happens after. That's what we need to, that's our story, and we got to stick to it. And his note said that we'd have safe passage there, but it didn't say anything about safe passage back. So I'm really, really cautious about this. I just think that it would have been worse if we had said no, because he can appear at he's maybe even listening right now. So just be careful, all right?
I mean, just from the wording of the letter, it sounds like he might try to offer to free us from here in exchange for something.
Yeah. What's our price?
Oh yeah, there's a description.
I'm not leaving without his head.
I don't know if it's something you want to start at dinner tonight, but it might not be a bad scouting expedition.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to dine with
the
devil and see his strengths and weaknesses.
I'm
it's a good opportunity to see his stronghold.
Yeah, he'll mess with your head. He got inside of my head. He read my dreams. So his magic is really, really, really strong.
So why did you guys want to go to Strahd's place?
I just think it would have been worse for us if we had said no.
I mean, because there was this.
I see it. Yeah. I see it as an opportunity to see his stronghold, see if there's any weak points or anything. That way, when we come back to potentially defeat him this time, we have an inside look, and we're not just completely going in blind.
Well, we're going to the lion's den. It's his place. Yep. He's gonna have complete dominion over the entire place. We might not be able to get out of there once we go in. Do you think he lives alone?
We'll find out.
The horses are just running as fast as possible. Any of you that have any experience with horses or wagons, it's hard to understand how they can travel so fast. But within minutes, you see the Luna River crossroads, and you hear the wheels slushing through the snow on the landscape and rumbling over the bridge of the Luna River, heading east.
I think maybe talking to him about Tatiana, his love, might not hurt either.
Well, yeah. Didn't he want you to bring her to him?
Yeah, he did, but we haven't been able to find her yet. And so, if I guess what I'm saying is, if his conversation starts to veer towards trying to pick a fight, get us to pick a fight amongst each other, or if he's trying to lure us to something that doesn't feel right, that maybe we can use that as a way to change the subject and redirect the conversation.
Okay.
The carriage continues. You're bouncing around, and you look out the window, and you see smoke billowing from ahead on the horizon, and the carriage continues to the east, and you pass through this burned down, broken gate, a wall, Mara, which you know is the western wall of Valakai. And you could see now passing by you on either side, burned out, smoldering buildings, doors shuttered. You don't see any people about at all. Smoke billowing around you. It looks as though this village has seen a terrible tragedy since you'd last seen it, Mara. Corben and Bjorn, neither of you have been to Valakai, to my recollection. So this is new to you, but you do see this strange, desolate, apocalyptic town. Wolves fighting on the side of the road over a pile of bodies that have been piled alongside the roadway. As you pass by, they don't even pay you any mind. You see Mara, St. Andrew's Church. As you pass by St. Andrew's Church, all the windows boarded up. And you swear almost as you go by that you can see eyes peeking from inside through some of the boards on the windows, but you're moving at such a fast pace that you're unclear. You pass by an inn, the Blue Water Inn, Mara. You would remember the Blue Water Inn, where you and your companions had stayed previously, Stanley and Marzin and yourself. Again, it is boarded up, but you do see a group of people on the front stoop of this place, and as they see the carriage come into view, they start throwing rocks and flinging arrows at the carriage, and the horses pay no mind at all and just zip right past the Blue Water Inn. Eventually you make your way to the Morning Gate, the eastern gate of Valakai, and you see on the side of the road, just as you're leaving this broken gate, which provides no protection anymore to the people within, you see on the side of the road a carnival wagon broken down, smashed, and you can just make out as you pass by the faded lettering on the side of the wagon. It says Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders, and you race beyond the gates into the wilderness, headed east.
Oh, guys, that's Valakai, and it's
happened there?
gone. It's gone. I thought I saw some eyes from the church, and there's some people in front of the Blue Water Inn, but that was a bustling town. I mean, as bustling as you can get in this place, but wow, holy mackerel. It's I can't talk about it right now.
Did Strahd do that?
Probably.
Strahd's minions.
All those people. There's an orphanage with kids.
Yeah, I think they thought we were Strahd or something. Did you see they were throwing rocks at us? Doesn't
Yeah,
feel
I
good.
hope they didn't see me inside. Yeah, I hope they didn't see me inside the window, because we might have to go back there. Oh, you guys, this is horrible.
Mara, you in particular feel the burden of what you just witnessed, obviously, having an effect on you. But you have little time to dwell as the carriage continues to race eastward and starts to climb out of the forest and into a mountainous landscape. Now, out of character, I don't remember if Mara was around for like the windmill. I think that was a different character, wasn't it?
I can't remember if it was Anna or Celise.
It was Enna. It was Enna. That's right.
Okay.
So you wouldn't know what this is, but as you pass by, on the right side of the carriage, you can see a broken windmill that has been burned to the ground and destroyed. Out of character, you guys would remember that Enna and Flinta and Smitty got into a pretty bad fight there with the witches, and not the same kind of witches that you've met in Berez. A little bit different kind of witch. That was pretty intense. But anyhow, you pass by that, and eventually you can see as you're climbing through these mountain passes, the carriage not slowing down, by the way, racing around these mountain passes. You think the wheels are going to fall off the edge of the cliff. Rocks are sent spinning in all directions, tumbling down the mountainside. You think that you'll be thrown right along with them. Dense fog swirling around this barren landscape, swallowing the road behind you as the carriage races forward, drawn by these dark stallions, driven forward as if the devil himself held the reins. But again, there's nobody in the driver's seat. There's no crack of the whip or anything. These horses just have a mission, a relentless sprint through the dense fog that surrounds this mountain road. And ahead of you, you start to make out, jutting from the steep cliffs that plunge into the obscure depths, these high stone buttresses. Attached to these buttresses, these huge iron gates that hang from the stonework. And again, the carriage racing forward towards this gate, this closed gate. As it does, the gates, you watch as they swing open by themselves, and the carriage passes through. Any of you that look back at the gates see them close again. The gates of Barovia. As you pass through the gates, you hear a crack of thunder, and you see a bolt of lightning spiral across the skyline, and rain starts to fall. You can hear the pitter-patter of rain. Relatively soft at first, but then another crack of thunder. And the rain starts coming down harder. You can hear it just pummeling the top of this carriage, which continues to wind its way through this craggy mountain pass. You do have, if you guys want to have any other conversations before arriving in at Ravenloft, this would probably be the time to do it.
All right, you guys remember what I said? Don't take any gifts from him. Don't let him drive a wedge between us.
Got it.
All right. The road takes a sudden turn to the east, and you catch your first glimpses of Ravenloft here. And let me give you a quick. Let's see, where is that? There we go. You see the first bits of Ravenloft as you come around the corner. Now, disregard the crazy-looking ravens; those aren't there. But I thought this was a nice depiction of of what you're looking at as you're climbing this narrow mountainous road up towards these turrets. Let's see. Let's let other people see what we're talking about. There we go. The carriage passes between those twin turrets of stone, broken from years of exposure. Beyond these guard towers, a lower drawbridge of old, shored-up wooden beams spans a 50-foot wide, fog-filled chasm that disappears into unknown depths below. The chains of the drawbridge as the carriage passes, rumbling across, the chains creak and moan, fighting the cold wind and snow that's blowing across this chasm. You can actually feel the carriage start to shift a little bit in the wind. The horses continue to pull with all their might. From atop the high walls of Ravenloft, stone gargoyles stare down at you from hollow eye sockets, grinning hideously at your approach. The carriage passes beneath a rotting wooden portcullis above the entry tunnel that comes to a stop in the courtyard. The carriage door swings open, announcing your arrival. What do you do?
All right. Manners, everyone.
I was just gonna say, so exactly. Well, I don't know if we have time to talk about it right now. I'll follow you.
You're in the carriage. The door just swung open. It's raining, thunder, lightning bolts streaking across the sky.
I'll hop out and kind of take a stretch and kind of look around. Is there any thing in particular, I guess, heading toward the doorway?
As you set your feet onto the stone pillar of Ravenloft, roll a dexterity save for me. Might as well get right into it. Nice. This blast of wind buffets you as you stand in the courtyard, and it almost knocks you over, but you're able to maintain your footing. And you kind of steady yourself as the wind dies down. There's this opaque fog that swirls through the courtyard, faster, then slower, descending, then lightning again, crackling overhead. You almost get the sense that the wind and the rain is almost trying to like tear this place down upon which you stand.
Got it.
And did you say you were kind of looking around for something?
Yeah, just taking a peek at, I guess, towards the doorway.
Yeah,
I
roll
guess.
a perception check. 16. Yeah. You look towards the doorway. You see torch flames fluttering on either side of this keep's entry door, and they're fighting the wind as well, flickering almost out and then coming to life again. And you can see through this portal, this archway, that there's light spilling out, fighting its way into the dark courtyard that you're standing in. And you look up as well as you're looking around, and you can see up above you, there's a round window, probably 60 feet up, that has shards of broken glass lodged within its iron frame. But you do see that the door before you, this ornate outer door, hangs open. Again, the fluttering torches shining a bit of light. You feel almost an inviting presence.
I'll turn to you guys and or turn to my friends and let them know, like, be careful. It's quite windy out here. Well, we're here now. You guys ready to dine with the devil?
As ready as I'll ever be. I should mention that while we were in the cart coming up the mountain, I was taking the tome and tucking it in the back underneath my vestments.
Okay.
I didn't want it in my pack.
Okay.
I want it on me.
I'll
All right.
reach a hound out for you guys to try to help you off the cart.
And
that way
I've
you
got
don't
my
lose your
shield. I'm
footing.
gonna hold my shield over my head and try to cover, one or two of you guys too, to kind of, I don't know, buff at the rain a little bit.
Okay. And do you
All right.
race forward to the door, the main door?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Corben, do you step out and follow?
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna approach a little more cautiously, though, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, roll a wisdom saving throw for me, everybody.
Are they right next to me?
Yes.
Okay, so +5 to your throw, because of my aura.
Ooh. All right.
Are you kidding?
14, 15,
Oh, yikes.
and 21. Okay. Bjorn, you have a sense of that there's a bit of danger ahead. You have a little apprehension, but nothing out of the ordinary. Corben, you have this feeling of almost like a sense of hospitality before you. Like this place is inviting you, calling to you. And Mara, you rolled a 15. You get this sort of sense as well, but not quite as strong. You have a lot of apprehension that kind of fights off a bit of this sense of invitation that you all feel to some extent. But Corben, you feel it the most. As you step towards these doors, you look inside, you step through the doors, and you're inside of a room. And above you, you see 4 stone statues. Actually, let me read it for you. Overhead, in this vaulted foyer, are 4 stone statues of dragons that glare down at you, their eyes flickering in the torchlight. There is another set of doors 10 feet ahead of you. This appears to be some sort of just an entryway, a foyer of some kind. You step forward towards the second set of doors.
Is there anybody, or could I listen to see if I could hear any movement or anything? Is there like a butler coming in or something like that to approach us, or
Sure.
like someone to greet us?
Do you want to like approach the doors to listen?
Yeah, just kind of quietly listening to hear from. Yeah.
Okay, so you step towards the door with the idea that you're going to try to listen to see what's on the other side of it. But as you do, the doors themselves swing open towards you to reveal a grand torchlit hall filled with the sound of organ music. Above your head... Oh, whoops, I jumped the gun. Above, let's see, cobwebs stretch between these stone columns that support this vaulted ceiling. It's a huge room, probably, 40 feet across by 40 feet. It's an enormous space with 4 stone pillars, one in each corner. Cobwebs stretched between them, torches casting odd shadows across the faces of 8 stone gargoyles that squat motionlessly on the rim of the domed ceiling above you. Cracked and faded ceiling frescoes are covered by decay. As you're standing in this room, you can see so you came in from the west. Okay, you're on the western edge of this room. To the far east, 40 feet from you, is another set of double doors. Bronze doors that are closed. To the north, there is a wide staircase that climbs into darkness. You can't see where it goes. A lit hallway to the south contains another set of bronze doors, through which you hear the sad tones of an organ playing. Roll a perception check, Bjorn, since you were going to try to listen. As you're looking around, you're looking to the south towards the origin of the music that is playing.
Is there anything over there? Anything I could see?
You're looking to the south, examining trying to find out where this music is coming from, and let me just do this. The 3 of you nervously wondering what to do, looking to the south, when suddenly you hear, "Welcome to Barovia. Welcome to Castle Ravenloft. We have been expecting you." You turn and you see an elf with brown skin and long black hair silently descending this large staircase to the north. Quiet as a cat. He wears a gray cloak over what appears to be black studded leather armor, and he has a polished scimitar hanging from his belt. "I trust that your travels here were unmolested."
They were. Thank you for asking. I'm Mara. What is your name, sir?
Forgive my rudeness. My name is Rahaden. I am the Chamberlain of Ravenloft and loyal servant of Strahd von Zarovich.
My name is Mara. I'm a loyal servant of the Morning Lord Lathander.
Ah, yes, I have heard of the Morning Lord, of course. And you? He turns to you, Corben.
My name is Corben.
Ah, yes. The Knight. We've heard much about you as well. Welcome. And you, Dwarf?
I am Bjorn Ironhide.
Ah, this is a bit of a surprise. We had not known. I was under the impression, Brightwood, that you were with other traveling companions.
This is a dangerous land, as you know.
Yes.
They didn't make it.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It is a very dangerous land indeed. As you're kind of having this awkward sort of welcome, you look behind him on the stairs and you see two additional individuals appear walking down very quietly down these stairs. A very beautifully dressed, handsome man with long blondish hair, chiseled sort of angular features, and a kind of a pointed nose and a pointed chin, kind of a long face. He is adorned in a beautiful red coat, and he has various jewelry on him. Behind him, to the left, just slightly behind him, walks a woman. A woman with, let me remember what she looks like, with dark hair. She doesn't say anything, but she follows behind him, and you get the sense as looking at her that she doesn't have quite the ornate ensemble of clothing that this man does, but she follows closely behind, and he comes down and says, My, we have guests. Welcome to Ravenloft. My name is Escher, and he comes forward to shake your hands. Welcome.
Thank you for having us for dinner.
Yes, it looks as though we are having a party tonight. My name is Escher, as I said, and this is Sasha. And she kind of looks up at you and just nods. Hello.
Hello.
As he smiles, you see the prominent fangs that poke down from his upper teeth. It is wonderful to have guests. It is not often that we have people visit here, so welcome. Ah, yes. Rahaden, have you offered them to drink yet? And Rahaden kind of turns and says, he says, well, the Lord is not quite ready for the guests yet. Please. He kind of looks at you, and you kind of notice this now as well after having seen Escher come with this kind of beautiful outfit on, and Rahaden is dressed to the nines as sort of this like Chamberlain butler sort of guy, really nice clothing, very, very prim and proper, and you know, well pressed clothing. Sasha as well, although her clothing is a little bit faded maybe and a little bit older. It looks almost a little bit maybe like dusty in a sense. But you look at yourselves and you are bloody and dirty and torn clothing, and if you've been through multiple battles since you've arrived in Barovia, have been nearly killed on numerous occasions, your armor, your clothing having been pierced and slashed and burned and God knows what else, you start to feel sort of a sense of like, oh, we might be a little underdressed for this engagement. Rahaden looks you up and down, and you get this sort of a hint of maybe a little bit of disgust from him. He says, please, Escher, Sasha, would you be so kind as to escort our esteemed guests to the guest quarters where they may freshen up while they await their host? If they are to dine with the Lord of Ravenloft, well, they must be suitably cleansed of their grit and their grime. Please. And Escher comes over and kind of looks you up and down, Corben, and offers his hand to you and says, please come with me. We'll get you cleaned up, no problem.
I'm not going to touch him.
And the woman comes up to you, Bjorn, and kind of looks you up and down and says, "Perhaps we can clean you."
Bjorn is gonna kind of smell himself and like, it's like I'm quite clean. I'll take her hand. Like, why not? She's a beautiful lady.
I'll
Okay.
just say, please lead the way.
Very well. As Mara, are you going to also join them for this?
I'm gonna follow. Yes.
Okay. So they guide you through to the south, through this grand domed, vaulted ceiling chamber, this large chamber towards the south, and they take you to this torchlit spiral staircase. And you start heading upwards in the spiraling staircase. You can hear your footsteps echoing up and down the twisted shaft of stone. And there's a chill wind that kind of blows down the circling stairway, kind of sapping all semblance of any heat that might be given off by the firelight of the torches. And you continue climbing and climbing. And you also notice that your host's footfalls do not tend to make much noise on the stonework, but you can clearly hear the echo of your own feet. And you continue your ascent until you come to a dark landing that's about 10 feet wide and 20 feet long. It is as you come out onto this landing, there is you get another blast of this cold air that is coming down the this shaft, right? Let me just get my notes here. There we go.
Dave, did you say we went upstairs?
Yeah,
with
you
them?
went up. You went up quite a ways, continuing up and up, and you come into this landing. As I was getting to, there's a second set of there's a second staircase to the northeast corner of this landing that continues upwards, and there's a cold blast of air that rushes down that staircase into this landing, whistling mournfully through the room before it starts to stream down the stairs that you just ascended. Looking into this room, you see there's an ornate rug on the floor, a square rug. There is a set into the west wall is a iron-bound wooden door. At the center of the room is a wooden trapdoor that's set into the floor with recessed iron hinges and an iron ring built into the side opposite the hinges. But most striking is a framed portrait on the north wall of this room that depicts a handsome, well-dressed man with a serene yet penetrating gaze. He is seated on what appears to be some sort of a wooden throne-like chair. He has a beautiful cloak thrown over his shoulder. He has a sword in one hand that seems to be he seems to be holding almost like a walking stick with the blade down, his hand on the hilt, his other hand on his knee. A very, very sort of formal portrait painting of this man. But it is striking. Escher turns to you and says, please be sure not to touch anything, okay? Come. And he opens the iron-bound door heading west into what appears to be some sort of a lounge-like area. Do you follow?
We've walked from the landing into this room with the trapdoor in the photo, and then now we're going to the west.
Correct.
Okay.
Into another room.
Into another room.
Yeah, so you're moving from the landing. Escher just got you to the top of the stairs in this landing, which I described has this rug. There's a trap door in the floor. There's a painting, a portrait of a man. And then he went through the only door in this landing, which goes to the west. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Was the door locked at all, or did he just open it?
No, he just opened it.
I'll fall behind him.
Okay.
I mean, where else are we gonna go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in stick together mode, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Mara, as you walk by the portrait, given your passive perception, you see what you think you see is the eyes of the portrait following you as you walk to the door. And then you kind of turn to look at it, and it just looks like a normal painting.
Yeah, I was actually kind of looking to see if that's what was going to happen. Because I'm just like super cautious right now because I know what this guy is capable of. I know what he did to me, so I'm really treading lightly, and I've got my eyes just. I'm watching everything.
Absolutely. So you follow Escher into this new room, this large room, and there is, as you enter, a crash of thunder almost starts to shake the tower. And you see lightning. There's a huge window in this room. And as the thunder shakes this tower, the heavy beams above your head seem to groan under the weight of the ceiling. And there are 3 ornate lanterns that are hung by chains from these beams that cast a dim glow throughout the room. It's a well-lit room. The curved western wall, so think of this whole area as a tower, right? You're in a tower, and the western wall is curved. It's fitted with 3 windows of leaded glass in steel lattice work. And you can see as you look out into the darkness beyond, the swirling mists are illuminated every once in a while for a moment by a crash of thunder and lightning illuminating them. And it's quite a storm has been whipped up outside, it appears. On the east wall, between what appear to be 2 doors, the door you walked in and an additional wall on the southern end of that east, another door on the southern end of that east wall, there is a bookcase. There are a bunch of plush overstuffed chairs and couches placed about the room. Their fabric's a bit faded with age. The patterns that it depicts are nearly imperceptible. And as you walk in, a woman rises from a lounging position on the couch. And Escher stops momentarily, bows ever so slightly to the woman, and turns to you and said, "Let me introduce you to Ludmilla, the mistress of Ravenloft." And he turns to her and says, "Mistress, these are our guests, Mara Brightwood, Corben Brindel, and Bjorn Ironhide." And she bows to you slightly, and she says, welcome to Ravenloft. I see that you are in need of a bit of cleaning up before dinner. Please come in, make yourselves comfortable, find a place to sit." And then she turns and says, "Escher, would you play for us some music, please?" And he walks over to a table where you see there's a harp on the table, and he picks it up and he starts plucking from the harp. Just a kind of a somber tune. He's obviously skilled with the harp. She turns to you, Mara, and she says, "If you would follow me, my dear, I can get you cleaned up. I've got some tricks up my sleeve, if you will." And she smiles at you.
Oh, I so appreciate it, but and I would like to clean myself. I truly would, but we're staying together tonight. Our group is staying together. Can my friends join me?
Well, that is certainly up to you. Let me show you the accommodations at the very least. And she walks to that southern door and opens it up. And you don't follow her at this point, but she opens the door, and there's light coming from inside this room. And she says, "You may use this area for privacy if you'd like."
Thank you. And I'm going to walk over. Is she standing right next to the door, Dave?
Yeah, she's kind of standing at the door, sort of like holding her hand out, sort of gesturing to the room.
I'm going to cast Find Traps.
Okay. Go ahead and plop that in the, there you go. 20 feet within range of sight. Yeah, you do not see any traps. Do you look into the room as well, or are you just looking at the doorway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of looking around the door jam. I want to see what's in there before and kind of try to be, I don't know, sly about sort of waving my hand to cast the spell. I don't want to, aside from not wanting them to see me casting a spell, I also don't want to appear rude.
Okay.
Because I know that's something they would take great offense at, probably.
Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand for me. Not bad. You use your hand motions as subtly as you possibly can to cast the spell, which you do successfully cast. You don't detect any sort of trap in the space before you. You look inside, you see a large bed at the center of this room. It looks as though this is like some sort of a guest room. Its four-cornered posts support a black canopy that's trimmed with gold tassels. It's very tasteful, very nice. There are several comfortable divans that are placed about the room, and there is a banded door on the eastern wall, straight across on the other side of the bed. So basically, between the door that you're at and the other door, there's a bed in the way, right?
Okay.
You also see that on the bed there are 3 piles, or actually there'd be 4. There are 4 piles of what appear to be, roll a perception check. Without going further into the room, you're not quite sure what they are, but you can see that there are 4 neat piles on the bed. And as you're looking in and sort of scanning for traps using your magic, Ludmilla sort of leans in a little bit closer and says, "Don't worry, my darling. We wouldn't hurt you. We've invited you here as guests. Well, at least not before dinner, anyhow." And she kind of smiles. And as she smiles at you, you see the distinct feature of her fangs that she's not trying to hide whatsoever. She then says to you, "Mara, we have laid out some clean clothes for you and your friends. If you would like my assistance, I would be more than happy to help you clean yourselves, but I understand if you would like to do that yourselves. We will give you privacy." And she steps away and walks back over to the couch that she was seated on before and sits down and just kind of crosses her legs and puts her hands on her knee.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the room.
Okay. So you walk in, and at that point you can see that there are 4 piles of neatly laid out clothes. One of which is obviously a woman's wardrobe. The other are what appear to be obviously kind of men's clothing, but you can see that there's one that has a little bit more. Well, I'll actually let you describe what the clothing looks like, if you decide to put it on.
Oh, okay.
Are we still with?
I get.
You guys are in the lounge right now. This lounge
Okay.
area with Escher, Sasha, and Ludmilla. Mara has walked into this bedroom and is looking upon the bed. I don't know if you guys follow her or not, but this is what you see, Mara. And basically, these clothes are like fine clothes, like kind of evening formal wear kind of thing. They're very clean and very tasteful. But I'll let you kind of describe what if you decide to make that change and put on some clean clothes. I'll lead it up to you to kind of describe what it looks like.
It looks to me to be really enticing because I'm dirty and grubby and gross. It's a beautiful dress, and clearly it's made to fit me, which frightens me a little bit, because he knows too much, and I feel like I'm naked without taking my clothes off, and I am I want to clean up. I think what I'm the dress, I want to hold it up and see how well I can move in the dress. Is that something that I can determine?
So you just kind of hold the dress up like in front of you to sort of like see how it would fit you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and how I'm gauging how well I can move and fight in this dress
Sure. Roll an investigation
before I
check.
put it on.
Yeah, roll an investigation check. Nice.
Nice.
You get the sense that you would have a pretty decent freedom of movement. You wouldn't be inhibited at all in your movement. It certainly doesn't provide you with any sort of like armor, but it's a beautiful, like you mentioned, a beautiful dress that is quite literally fit to you, and it's quite beautiful.
Okay, what is the situation for bathing or cleaning?
There
in this
is
room?
there really isn't much there in terms of a wash basin or anything. It seems as though Ludmilla had some plans for you, but there's no water or anything like that.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like it makes much sense for me to change my dirty, grubby self into these clothes. I haven't closed the door yet. Ludmilla,
Yes.
is there a basin of water?
Aye.
Is there a basin of water?
We could make that happen. Lightning streaks across the skyline behind her, and she turns and says, "Sasha, be a good darling and fetch us a bucket of water." Sasha kind of looks at her, kind of gives her a little bit of a hiss, and then she storms out of the room. And she leaves.
Thank you so much. I don't want to put on these fine clothes in the state that I am. I appreciate your hospitality greatly.
But of course. So the three of you are standing there. Escher continues to pluck at his harp and he's playing his kind of beautiful, mournful song. No words or singing, but just a really beautiful melody that he plays. And Ludmilla just kind of sits there and looks at the three of you.
Ludmilla, go ahead.
I was gonna say, could I wander over by like the bookcase and just kind of read a couple titles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to see.
Yeah. You mosey over to the bookcase and you see a couple of different titles. Embalming, the Lost Art is one of them. Life Among the Undead, subtitle, Learning to Cope. There's another book that catches your attention, Castle Building 101. And the fourth book, there are many books, but only a couple of them really are of interest to you. But the fourth is The Balanock Mountains.
I'll pick up the. I'll kind of turn and look and be like, do you mind like asking permission to?
Oh, please.
Grab a book.
Please.
I'll pick up the Castle Building 101 and kind of just turn through the pages.
All right, roll an intelligence check for me.
Shit.
It's way over your head. Like it's really it's a very technical book.
All right.
101.
Yeah, exactly.
101.
It's like that freshman level book that you just can't quite motivate yourself to study.
All right. I'll toss it back and I'll pick up the one about the mountains just to see if there's any pictures or something in it.
Yeah, you open it up and there are a variety of different pictures of the mountains.
Much nicer for me.
That's great.
Dave, are they expecting us? Do they look like they're expecting us to do something right now?
Not really.
Okay.
They're basically offering you the opportunity to change out of your dirty, war-torn clothing
Okay.
and clean yourself up.
Ludmilla, Escher said that you're the mistress of Ravenloft. I didn't know there was a mistress of Ravenloft. Please excuse me. How long have you lived here?
Oh, many hundreds of years I have lived within the walls of Ravenloft. Yes. There are many benefits to living here, and I will tell you that it is a both beautiful and dangerous place. Tell me, how long have you been in Barovia yourselves?
I wish I could tell you. It's easy to lose track of time here.
Indeed. I myself am not from Barovia originally. Came as a little girl. But I have been here for much long time. She just kind of is lost in thought at that point. Kind of looking up. Escher still playing his beautiful harp song. Do you ask her anything else?
How did you come to be here?
Well, it is probably not as interesting of a story as yours, but I came to Barovia with the Vistani many hundreds of years ago. Stowed away, if you will, in a caravan from my homeland of Amn. I lived for many years in Barovia, hiding in the shadows, unclean, unmotivated. When I was 10, perhaps 11, a family in Valakai found me in the streets and gave me a place to live. But as you can see, and you start to see now that she has sort of a darker complexion than the rest of the people that you've seen, although pale in its own way. She says, because of my heritage, and I stood out a bit amongst the people, and they were unkind to me. As I grew into a young woman, I found it necessary to leave Valakai. And eventually I made my way here. And have learned many things from the Lord of Ravenloft. He has given me, he's accepted me into his family and made me, as you say, you and Escher say, the mistress of Ravenloft. Yes. That is my story.
Thank you for sharing.
How's it like being a vampire?
It is exhilarating, I assure you. She smiles, and you can just see her fangs kind of glinting in the torchlight.
We already noticed Escher's fangs, right?
You did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You've noticed his fangs and Ludmilla's. Why do you ask, dwarf? What is your curiosity?
Just haven't seen one this close of the person. I haven't really dealt with your kind much, and you just seem so controlled. And the stories I've heard is just bloodthirsty beings that are wanting to attack.
Yes. Well, there are many stories told to scare people about us. It is true that we are very powerful, but it is not true that we are savages. Many of us have studied...
Do you miss being human?
Oh, no, my friend. If I had continued my my path as a human, I would be long gone by now. I have been given a gift to study and to learn, to spend an eternities upon eternities delving into the deepest and darkest secrets. It is a gift. About that time, you hear the return of Sasha. She comes through the door with a bucket of water sloshing back and forth, and she just kind of drops it on the ground, kind of splashes a little bit, and then she goes and sits down.
Sasha, I greatly appreciate this. I did not realize you had to go someplace to get it. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to take the bucket into the room.
Okay.
And
I mean, we're all expected to go in there and change, right?
at some point, yeah.
It's up to you guys how you do it.
I think we should all go in there and close the door behind us and have a little discussion. But I don't know how I can't say that out loud.
Well, you just
I'm just gonna go and walk into the room with you. I'm gonna walk into the room and just looking at you like I got something to say.
Got it.
Maybe I'll motion to Bjorn to follow me.
All right, I'll go in there too. I'll start walking, kind of intrigued. Just a bucket of water and two of us. Nothing.
All right.
I'm gonna turn my head. I'm gonna turn my head and look at Ludmilla and wink. and before I close the door.
She nods approvingly.
But they're all just sitting out there waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't really respond much other than she gives you a nod, Mara. They're sort of doing their thing. The three of you walk into the room. Corben and Bjorn, you see that there are 3 piles of clothing on the bed. Mara has already claimed one of them. And you close the door behind you?
Yes.
Okay. The door is closed.
In a whisper, I'm just gonna motion towards the clothing and be and say, would this be considered a gift? Something he's giving to us?
Oh, I don't know, but I am going to clean up. I'm going to try to at least tidy my vestments enough, because no matter what I have on, I'm putting my vestments on over it.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable taking my armor off. I can tell you that right now.
I've got some clean common clothes in my bag, and I think that's what I'm going to put on. And stow my dirty ones underneath. Are you going to go to dinner in your armor?
There are things that I don't want to leave behind.
Right. I don't either. I'm bringing my bag with me wherever I go.
Bjorn, you look down as they're having this conversation at the 3 piles of clothing, and one of them catches your attention. What does it look like?
I guess it's smaller. It's more like a children's clothes. I guess it's just for a fat kid. I guess they don't have too many dwarves that are there.
Husky.
Yeah.
Husky style.
Yeah. So I see a normal man shirt with a big husky child's trousers. I kind of just huff to myself and just kind of sit down, just unwilling to change.
Okay, so you're not going to change at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Okay, all right.
I'm too proud in my dwarf You know, if the elves gotta smell my stench, you know, that makes me even more happy. So, especially since they're vampire, or only one's elf, right? The other are all human.
Yeah, that's what you gathered, is that everybody that you've seen so far, except for the Chamberlain Rahadin, has been human. He is an elven male, and Mara, you would be, I think, the only person that would recognize his species or his race as a dusk elf. You've met them before.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about it. I was gonna ask you what I noticed about his ears.
Yeah, I won't even make you roll. He had full pointed ears.
Okay. All right,
Corben,
guys.
you also see a set of clothing that is to your style and liking. What does it look like?
Oh, I imagine it's like a dark green colored, like robe and like tunic and whatnot. Maybe it's got some nice stitching along the edges, like kind of like golden, like embroidery, perhaps. I mean, it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought of meeting a room full of vampires without my armor or my swords, or my shield, or anything is not agreeing with me right now, so I'm wondering what to do.
What's in the fourth pile?
The fourth pile is also a set of clothing that is. It is essentially, it looks like something you all, or yeah, I guess all of you except for Bjorn, you would look at it and sort of get this sense that that would be something that maybe Stanley would wear.
Interesting. Stanley, but not Marzen, huh?
Well, I was gonna do something different with Bjorn's. I was gonna have Bjorn's be Marzen sized, and so that he'd have to wear like his daddy's clothes around the whole time. But we'll just go with what he said.
My bad.
I liked his description better.
I did too.
So you know what? We'll say there's 5 piles. There's a pile that would have been for Marzen, and a pile that would have been for Stan.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go to dinner with vampires with blood on me, so I am gonna clean up and make an. I think it's important that we at least make an effort at civility, because we don't want to tick him off right away, and so I think that's probably a place to start. And then you two do what you're going to do as far as what you're going to wear, and I'll do the same. So turn around, guys. I'm going to get dressed.
We'll turn around.
So yeah. I'm going to take and take my hair down and brush it and clean myself up and put on my common clothes. I'm not going to put on my armor. I'm going to stow that in my bag. But I am taking the silver dagger. I'm going to kind of stick it down in my dress like I had before. And I'm going to take the tome and I'm going to put it like inside the armor. So like the armor's in the bag, the tome's inside the armor. I just feel like I don't want to. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take and kind of try to spot clean my vestments and put them on. It's sort of like a surplice, if you know the term, the surplice over my common clothes. And so that, it's very clear that the Morning Lord emblem is right there on my vestments over my clothes. And it also kind of hides any lumps or bumps for the silver dagger. and I'll comb out my hair and just kind of get all cleaned up and not dirty the water any further than I already have, and say, all right, guys, your turn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the best to just kind of like tidy up what I have on. I'll definitely be leaving some of my things behind. I'm gonna keep the sun sword tucked in my belt, like at the small of my back. I'm definitely not leaving that in this room. As far as the rest of my stuff, I'm not gonna bring, I guess, my shield and my great axe. None of the like the wolf skin stuff that we scrounged together in the wilderness. I'm gonna clean up like what I had, my common clothes. I'm gonna keep my chainmail on. Just kind of washing up.
Okay.
Like I'll leave my backpack, explorer's pack, bedroll, mess kit, that kind of stuff. I'll leave that stuff.
Are you going to leave your stuff here, really?
Well, I mean, what that's the impression I got from you. Like, is that
I'm bringing my pack with me. I'm just
Okay.
changing my clothes for dinner, but I'm bringing my pack with me.
Yeah.
It's going to be my not so subtle and silent message that I'm only here for dinner. I'm not here for the night.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my stuff on me then.
I don't want to have to come running for it.
I don't either.
Okay. So, what about you, Bjorn? You're not changing, you're not cleaning up or anything, right?
Nope, just kind of taking in. Is there a window into the room at all? I guess just peering outside or something. I don't know if there's
There is
or
not.
a fireplace. Is there a fireplace or anything?
There isn't. There's a door on the opposite side of the room.
All right.
That's about
I
it.
guess I'll be just flipping through the pages of the mountains, kind of looking at them, seeing if there's anything interesting that it strikes out to me.
And since Bjorn isn't going to clean up, I'm going to go back to the water and kind of dip some of my already dirty clothes in to kind of wring it out and shine up my shield, because that's got the emblem of the Morning Lord on it, and I want to kind of make that really prominent, right? So I'm kind of shining that all up and
Okay.
wiping off all the dirt and blood, and because I keep thinking I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want any blood. I don't want any blood remnants on me in the presence of vampires. They're showing control now, but I don't know what's going on in their head. So, Bjorn, I'm not telling you have to clean up, but I would suggest you might want to at least clean up any blood that you've got on you. I think that's sort of a welcome mat for for a vampire. That's just what I know about the species. This might be a different kind of crew, but I'd give it some thought if I were you.
Bjorn he humps a little bit, and he kind of whispers, but maybe you guys hear him enough. And like, why should I try to make people that I'm planning on that we're planning on killing more comfortable? It's like, well, if they're, it's like I should probably just cut myself even more to show these savages.
Bjorn, I want to get out of here alive, man.
They held it back good enough already, so.
I'm not. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So you're.
Just to clarify for me, Mara, are you wearing the dress?
No.
You didn't put the dress on. Okay.
No, I had clean common clothes in my bag, so I put those on.
So none of you put on any of the fine clothes. You're gonna leave them there. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else that you want to do before exiting this room?
I'm dying to look through that door, but I don't want to open a can of worms.
Just the just the hide stuff that I took off, I'm gonna stuff it into my pack, just so
Okay.
I'm not leaving anything behind.
Can I investigate the room a little bit more just to see if there's anything like
Sure.
worth taking?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll an investigation check.
So
Sorry.
seeing that this place is fancy, I'm just trying to see if like maybe they have silver spoons or like some like nice
It's a
knife set or
it's
something. I don't know.
fancy, but it's a pretty Spartan room. There is, as I mentioned, this sort of canopied bed that has, it's beautifully made, nice sheets. It's a clean room. Everything looks like kind of old. There's a large patterned rectangular rug in the middle of the room that itself also seems to be a little worn. It has what appears to be, it's hard with that roll, you don't really get a whole lot, but it appears as though it almost depicts like a stained glass window sort of motif on the rug, but it's pretty faded. There are 2 couches and a table that has nothing on it. Other than that, it is sort of a dirty stone floor. There's dust on the floor in the corners, and it doesn't look like it's been swept or anything recently. And then, as I mentioned, there's the door on the opposite side of the room from where you entered. But that's about it.
Should we check out that other door?
Bjorn, hold on a second, Bjorn. I totally forgot. I don't know how I forgot this. I have another silver dagger. Do you want it on your person? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, I'll take it.
After we get done here, I might want it back, but silver plus vampires is not. I don't think they like it too much. So
Yep.
here's my extra. So I kind of dig down in my bag and I pull it out and give it to Bjorn.
Good idea. I'll use it as a toothpick during dinner. That way they know we mean business.
I'm just shaking my head.
I tell you that after you handed it to me, not before. All right,
shaking
so
my head.
just kind of
Alright.
jokingly, but not too much jokingly.
But not really.
Like you don't know. Yep.
You're not sure if he's telling the truth or if he's trying to
Yep.
make you laugh. Okay, well, so the 3 of you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, I was just gonna say the 3 of you, get ready. You clean yourselves, those of you that want to, and you make your way back into the room that your 3 hosts are sitting in. Escher continues to play the harp as you walk out, and Ludmilla is sitting in the chair, and Sasha is now combing her hair with sort of this brass, kind of fancy looking brush that she's combing this Ludmilla's hair. And oh, you're raging? Fair enough. Roll initiative.
No,
No, I'm not trying to. I don't know why I was trying to.
You just threw a dagger. You just threw a dagger at Ludmilla.
Yep.
All
No.
right. So as you walk out, Ludmilla kind of pushes away Sasha's hand from combing her hair, and she looks to you and says, "The clothes were not to your liking, then. I see."
Oh, that's not the case at all. I'm an acolyte, ma'am, and I really need to wear my vestments, and I so deeply appreciate the gesture, but I can't in good conscience wear something other than my vestments. I so appreciate your hospitality, though.
I completely understand. We just wanted to make the gesture, knowing that you have traveled for many days without the rest and the ability to clean yourselves. Shall we descend to dinner then? Bjorn, as they're having this conversation, Ludmilla asking, Sasha kind of walks up to you and she kind of reaches out and grabs your dwarven beard and kind of pulls on it a little bit. Roll a wisdom saving throw for me. And she says, your hair is so thick and beautiful.
Is he within 5 feet?
He is.
Okay, so that's plus
God,
5.
I hope I fail.
That's 12. He had a 12.
Charmed
says-
by her, like, oh.
She says, perhaps you would like me to brush it for you. And it sounds
So
to
I
you that
gotta-
sounds really good. It sounds like
Yep.
that sounds like exactly what you want. And she
I'm
reaches
so
up
hungry. I am so hungry.
and
oh,
she pulls on
I'm
your beard and she starts to
famished.
brush it. And she giggles a little bit. This is the first time she smiles. And you see her fangs as
I'll
she
kinda-
does.
I'll giggle with her a little bit too.
She's just
So
holding
I'm
your beard and
enjoying-
combing it.
All right, and you said I'm enjoying this, right? Like,
Yeah.
I kind of want her.
Yeah.
All right. Like, oh, we'll be right with you guys. Just go on ahead.
I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should all stay together.
Ludmilla turns and
Yes,
says,
that would
Sasha!
Be rude. That would be very rude. That
She
would be
snaps
very
her fingers
rude
and
to our
Sasha
guest.
stops brushing your hair and she giggles a little bit more and she says, very well. And Ludmilla gets up and she starts to head towards the door to leave. Escher stops playing and puts the harp down, and Sasha kind of puts her arm through Bjorn's arm as if sort of walking together to the dinner festival. And the two of you walk arm in arm down this spiral staircase. And let's go
Stick
ahead.
my chest out a little bit.
Yeah, you're feeling good.
And be like, king in the castle, guys. King in the castle. Here.
Exactly. With that, let's take a break.
I'm just so you know, I'm gonna like position myself so that I've got the pack I'm holding sort of one arm and I've got my shield in the other to kind of prevent anybody touching me,
Sure.
but trying to be polite about it.
Okay, so Ludmilla will lead, and Escher will behind her, and then I'm assuming Corben and Mara following, and Sasha and Bjorn will bring up the rear, and she's just kind of giggling
In
and
the
kind
back.
of kind of caressing you and kind of holding your arm, and
Oh.
as you make your way back down the
Good
spiral
Lord.
staircase. Let's go ahead and take a break. Let's say we'll come back in at 8:45. Does that sound about 15-minute
Right, yeah.
break? Okay.
Sounds good.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right.
Yep,
We'll see you in a
sounds
bit.
good.
All right.
Let's transition back over here then. We're just sort of talking about our room ratings for how cleanly our backgrounds are here in our real world settings, and we all did a nice job. I think we'd score high.
I want to get like a cool light like you have though. So I
Yeah.
can do colors.
Yeah.
Maybe
don't
some
know.
new art.
I don't know if you guys saw when we played that Altered States, but I had the multi lights going on,
Ah! Yeah.
which was pretty fun.
Having seizures going on.
See, and when I see that, all I can think of is, well, none of you guys grew up in St. Paul, but there was this disco called the Oz in downtown St. Paul. And are you familiar with that, Andy?
No,
you're nodding your head, but it had like
rings
a
a
yellow
bell, but
a yellow tile floor, and it went down into the basement, and everything was like green, but the whole dance floor was plexi, and it had the lights underneath.
crazy.
And so whenever you do that, that's what I think about that floor, and it just makes me think that you're gonna bust out dancing any moment.
It's possible. There was some dancing in the in our Altered State one shot, if I remember correctly, and some psychotropic drug use, and
Okay,
some other things.
so how did I not get to be a part of this?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It was pretty fun.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was great. But anyhow, we have much to do. Okay,
Yes, we
so
do.
the three of you, as well as your three hosts, Sasha, Escher, and Ludmilla, make your way down the spiraling staircase, ending up back in a large room. Let me bring up, I have my own little map here. There we go. There it is. You enter into a large hall, and torches flutter, the light being cast upon the walls, and again, a vaulted ceilings. It seems like the rooms that you've been in on this main floor, you're back on the main entry level, have been very tall ceilinged rooms. To the east is where you're coming from. You come down this spiral staircase, and you're on the eastern edge of this room. Next to the hallway, as you emerge into this room, you turn to the left and you see a suit of armor standing in a small alcove, oiled and glistening, kind of reflecting the torchlight. To the west, a large set of double doors hang slightly open, and a steady bright light escapes through the opening. Organ music comes through the doorway, spilling its melody into this antechamber. And as you enter this area, you see the elf again, Rahadin, and he bows again and says, you have prepared yourselves for the meal. Please enter. And he walks over and he opens the door. Everybody roll an insight check for me real quick. Nice. Not so nice. All right, so Mara, with that natural 20, you can tell by watching the elf Rahadin that he keeps his distance from you, from all three of you, deliberately, maintaining a kind of a buffer between himself and you, the guests. He has since you've arrived, but he does lean over and open up the doors, and you gaze into this room. There are three enormous chandeliers illuminating this magnificent chamber. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls that support the ceiling. There's a long table placed in the middle of the room, a table setting elegantly set atop a white satin cloth adorning this long wooden heavy table. At the center of the far western wall, as you gaze past the table, the length of the table towards the western edge of this wall, you see a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a melody that speaks to its tone of greatness and despair. Seated at the organ, facing away from you, a single caped figure pounds on the keys in raptured ecstasy. And Rahadin steps back from you and says, "Please enter." Ludmilla walks past him into the hall, as does Escher. Sasha kind of urges you forward, Bjorn, into the room. Come now, don't be scared.
Are they all
Yeah,
coming in
just
the room
walk
with
in.
us?
Yeah, they've all walked into the room now with Bjorn in tow. You and Mara are currently standing in the antechamber, and Rahadin is kind of standing back, gesturing for you to enter.
Is he entering the room with us?
He hasn't yet.
But it's those three others, us. Okay.
Yep.
And I Remind me, have we seen Rahadin smile? Have we seen
no.
his teeth?
Mm-mm. He has not smiled.
No,
Okay.
but he did move very
All right.
quietly.
Like a cat.
Yes, he did. Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna look at Corben and just kind of nod my head and go, okay, here goes nothing. Kind of that sort of look to him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enter.
The two of you enter as well, and you see that Ludmilla has taken a seat at the immediate chair, so it would be opposite the head of the table on the far length of the table. She sits down, and Escher finds a spot as well.
Is that the east end?
She's on the eastern edge of the table. Yep.
Thank you.
And the rest of you enter the room, and Rahadin closes the doors. As he enters, he closes the doors behind him, and he kind of stands at attention by the door. The consummate servant of the Chamberlain of the castle. The individual at the organ continues to play this rapturous melody that is very inviting, and it's very evocative in terms of passion and emotion. I'd like you all to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay, +5. Dave, would this be considered a charm effect?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I have an advantage because I'm half elf.
Okay.
It's my Fey ancestry.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll with advantage then. Nice.
22.
Okay.
It's +5 for you guys too, just so you know.
And that's for if they're in what? How close?
Here it is.
10 feet. Okay. So you enter the room, and you're kind of watching as your hosts find spots, and Sasha sits down and she kind of pulls you forward, Bjorn, towards a chair at the side of the table, and she kind of pulls the chair out for you.
Yep, I'll sit right next to her.
Yep, you sit down next to her, and you're in between her and Ludmilla at the eastern end of the table. And Escher takes a spot on the southern end of the table, but closest to the head of the table. And he gestures, please sit. And the individual at the organ keeps playing as you're standing there trying to decide what to do. And suddenly, the enchanting melody comes to an end, and the musician rests his hands on his lap, sitting there for a moment, quietly. Then he rises from the bench that he sits on, and he turns to you, and you finally see this individual's face. Before you stands a young, vibrant man, bearing an uncanny resemblance to the nobleman depicted in the portrait that you saw earlier in your when you traveled upstairs to the lounge and to the guest quarters. You saw that portrait, and this looks like that individual, finely dressed, and he has sort of this almost calm, serene look on his face as he looks at you, kind of looking almost past you in a sense, as if he's in some sort of a strange trance. He bows, and he sort of holds his head down, and you hear from behind you this clapping, a loud clapping from behind that interrupts this pregnant silence. And those of you, specifically Bjorn, you're kind of snapped from your reverie, your appreciation of what just happened, and you kind of look back. All of you look towards the back of the hall, the door that you just entered. And you see a second figure, tall, identical to the individual who was playing the organ. In every detail, clothing, hairstyle, posture, everything, except older looking, pale-skinned and menacing, and with a grin on his face. You catch yourself for a second. You look back at the pianist, but there's nobody there anymore. The musician has vanished. And you look back at the man who entered, and he says, "Welcome, my friends. I trust that your travels have been safe to my home. I am Count Strahd von Zarovich, the Lord of Ravenloft. It is good to meet you, and to see you again, Mara. Thank you for accepting my invitation to join me for dinner. Please, please, do sit." He starts to walk towards his spot at the head of the table, and he says, "Sir Corben Brindel, what a pleasure it is to make your acquaintance. I've heard much about you, much about your honor, and your success in defeating the revenant host of Argynvost. It is a no small accomplishment. I congratulate you on your success."
I'm just gonna bow.
"Ah. I don't know you." He looks at you, Bjorn. "I am sorry, I have not... What is your name, dwarf?"
I am Bjorn Ironhide.
"Ah,
And who... You are, the lord of this realm?
that is correct. You are new to this realm. I can see it in your eyes. Welcome to Barovia. I hope that you have not been troubled too much in your travels within the realm. Welcome. Please have a seat." Or you're already sitting. "Please, enjoy yourselves." He turns to you, Mara. "Mara, it has been some time since we have seen each other. I trust that you have had many successes. However, I had not heard from you in terms of the task that I provided to you and your friends. I see that you are a bit light in terms of your companions. What happened to your other traveling partners?"
Strahd, I think you know a lot about what's happened in this land, and it's a very dangerous place. Unfortunately, Marzen met with a deadly blow in a battle, and your task has not been forgotten. However, we haven't encountered many humans thus far, so you just know that it has not been forgotten. You have not been forgotten.
"I am sorry to hear of your losses. I know that you were close with your friend, the one with the raven tattoo."
Yeah, we've been friends for many, many years, and I was hoping to leave Barovia with my friend alive.
"Many heroes have found their ends in this strange land. For whatever reason, many are drawn to this place. Out of fate, perhaps, glory, a search for purpose." He looks at you, Bjorn. "Many come here, and many die. But I look at you, the three of you, and I see healthy, successful. I have heard, of course, Sir Brindel, of your success against Argynvosts, the corrupt knights And I must say, I am impressed. I thank you for ridding this land of their terrible presence. They were a blemish on the valley. Thank you for taking care of that.
Corben doesn't really know how to respond. So he's
I
just
have
gonna
also
sit quiet.
heard that you dispatched a den of shapeshifters, werewolves, that had plagued one of our righteous towns in the western end of the valley. Well done. You have been very successful and very busy. Mara, I know that we have had our differences. I do appreciate you helping me with that bit of business in Valakai. Tell me,
Sir, let's not play games. I feel very sad about what happened in Valakai.
indeed.
I
Let
that
me
is my
say
lord.
this.
That was my Lord Lathander, and you took a piece of me, sir. And I appreciate your gracious host tonight, but please let's not put a gloss on something that isn't shiny.
Very well, I see that the wound is still very much sensitive, and I appreciate that. Let us move on to other business, please. My apologies. Please bring us something to drink. And
I'm gonna sit down next to Lidmilla, please.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. Rahadin leaves the room and he comes back with a couple of corked bottles that he sets down on the table in front of you. And each of you has a set at your table setting that you're sitting at, a crystal goblet. Beautiful crystal goblet. Really, really nice. Ornate. Very valuable, you can only imagine. And Rahadin starts uncorking these bottles, setting an uncorked bottle down in front of you, various locations on the table so that they're all, they're easily within reach. And you take a look at the bottle and it says Red Dragon Crush wine. And it has a little emblem on it that says the Wizard of Wines. He says, I offer you drink as a part of my welcome to my humble home. These, as it would turn out, this Red Dragon Crush wine is a bit of a rarity these days. You see the good folk who made this wine, the wizards, if you will, have lost their winery recently. And there is not much of it left.
Of this.
Yes, it was burnt to the ground. The vineyard still lives, so my hope is that we can get the vineyard rebuilt and operational very soon. But in the meantime, these are some of the last bottles of the Red Dragon Crush in the whole valley. So please enjoy that. And Rahadin starts pouring bottle glasses.
Did we see Rahadin open them?
Yes, he uncorked them in front of you.
Okay.
Okay,
thank you.
He also, you also see, which is you get a little taken back by it, but you see a tray just sort of floating past you with another goblet on it, and it goes over to where Strahd is sitting, and the goblet just kind of hovers off of the tray all by itself and sets down in front of him, and then the tray kind of floats away, and he picks it up and he says, "A toast to those of us who have overcome many challenges in our lives, to arrive at the places that we have arrived at, and to have had the experiences that we've had. I wish you all health." And he raises his glass to you, and then he takes it and takes a drink of it. and sets it down in front of him.
You guys drinking?
I will toast, and I'm gonna put the glass to my lips, but I'm not gonna swallow. I'm just gonna appear to drink, but not really drink anything, and set it down.
You can still, even just on your lips, you can kind of taste, and you can definitely smell the aroma of a delicious wine, but you don't imbibe.
No.
Bjorn, he toasts as well, and like he kind of drowns the whole glass. She's happy to.
Sasha's impressed, and she kind of looks at you, and she kind of gives you a little nudge. Well, someone's in for a party tonight, and she reaches over and she pours you another goblet full of this red Dragon Crush wine, and then she sets it back down on the table. Tell me, of your time in Barovia, I'm curious. Have you had a chance to truly connect with any of our inhabitants here?
I'm sorry, not really. A few chance encounters here and there, but nobody we've made friends with, nobody that we've been able to. We've run into the same group of Vistani a couple of times, but I wouldn't call that a connection. You know, the Vistani camp, they stay amongst themselves. They were very hospitable, but our time was short and fleeting with them. It wasn't I wouldn't call that a deep and abiding connection, sir.
Shame. They are a very interesting people. They have traveled extensively through the realms and have many stories to tell, and as you may know or may not, they are very jovial and friendly. I wonder, Mara, have you had the pleasure of speaking with the one that they call Madam Eva?
Oh, Strahd. You wouldn't ask me unless you knew the answer already. Of course I've spoken to Madam Eva.
Tell me, what did she tell you? I have been curious to know.
Oh, she told me so many things. She told of the land. She told a little bit of you. Yeah, that's really it. You know, she's a woman of great wisdom, I can tell. But she's also she's what we would call a gypsy, and you know, you take words with a grain of salt, and you see what happens.
And did you have your destiny foretold through her magic?
Oh, there was a lot of mystery there, a lot of mist, kind of like this land that I found myself in and not being able to find my way out.
And tell me, what was the prophecy that spoke to you?
Well, it actually prompted a question. You know that my lord is Lathander, and I know you have a history with him, so that's where my head went, and that's where I was thinking about when she was talking to me. My head went in that direction. That's what I was thinking about, and I wanted to know more about you and your relationship with Lathander. If I'm not being too forward.
No, of course not. This is what they, I believe, consider to be, Ludmilla, correct me if I'm wrong, small talk. Yes? Yes. I am more than happy to share with you, but you did not answer my question, Mara, about the prophecy that Madame Eva told you. Do you not wish to share this with me?
I have to say that I'm very overwhelmed right now, and I am really not remembering exactly. I'm being 100% truthful with you right now, Strahd. I sat with her, and it was so long ago, and there've been so many battles and so much mist. I honestly can't remember.
Well, perhaps you will remember before you leave. I would be very
If I
curious to
do, I
know.
will.
There have been many heroes that have sought counsel with Madame Eva to learn of ways to escape this place, ways to perhaps destroy my power. I find it interesting and amusing. That is my only reason for asking. That said, I will certainly answer your question. I came to this valley many hundreds of years ago, after the death of my father, King Barov. I sought out his many enemies and vanquished them, eventually finding myself here. A valley that was overrun with savages who worshipped strange gods that were unknown to me and my peoples. Druidic gods, heathen gods. We brought the Morning Lord religion with us to this place. Taught the lessons to the people. My close friend, Andrel, was a cleric of the Morning Lord. Yes, we had philosophical differences, but Andrel was a good man. And he cared for the people enough to bring them out of the darkness, if you will, to teach them the ways of Lathander. And I supported that. So yes, I am familiar with your god. How shall I say, lost my faith along the way. Many things have happened. But I do not begrudge anyone for their beliefs. I can see that you carry his symbol close to you at all times, and that is that says a lot about your belief, your loyalty. Tell me, what does your god tell you at night when you speak with him in the darkness?
Tells me to keep my faith, and he tells me that I am one of the many bearers of light on his behalf.
Those must be reassuring things to hear from your god.
That's what faith is, sir.
Indeed. Indeed. Tell me, dwarf, he turns to you. I'm curious to know, when did you arrive in this strange land? I typically know what's going on in my own backyard, but you caught me a bit off guard. I was, well, expecting, what was their name? Marzen and Stanley.
I haven't been here too long. Kind of wandered into this mist and kept to myself since then.
Have you enjoyed your
And,
time in this land?
oh, very much so. I kind of look
Very
over
good.
at Sonya. But yes, I'm ready to get back to. This is doesn't seem like the best of places to stay and bed down.
Ah, yes. I have heard this many times before of people wishing to leave this land. I am sorry to inform you that that is not an easy task. But
Strahd, I'm sorry. It's occurring to me that Madame Eva did say something about that, and it gave me great sadness that she did say it was impossible to leave this land, and I was really hoping someday to see my home again.
yes, it is impossible for some, possible for others, depending on your fate and where your loyalties lie. But please, have another glass of wine. And Rahadin comes in, or not Rahadin, but Escher gets up and starts pouring wine. Anybody who needs another glass. Another glass comes in on a platter from a different source for Strahd. And you watch over the course of the conversation as he's drinking from his goblet that he seems to almost grow younger and more beautiful as he consumes his wine. Eventually, Sasha and Escher get up and leave the room. And he says, dinner is served. And only moments later, they walk back in carrying platters of food, followed by what you can only imagine are some sort of invisible servants of some kind, platters that are floating behind them. It is a cornucopia of delectable food, roasted pork, basted in some savory sauce that they lay in front of you, a soup of roots and herbs that smells absolutely delicious, fresh baked breads, and wine, multiple glasses of wine available to you in your crystal goblets. He looks to you and says, you are not a wine drinker, Mara.
I did not want to seem rude, sir. I no, I am not. It's part of my religious vows that I've taken, sir.
Very well. Well, I just wanted to be sure that you are not under the assumption that I would do something silly to poison your wine. You have proven yourselves as capable warriors. He looks at all three of you. I would not do you the dishonor of feeding you poison. Where is the fun in that?
Of course, sir. But I also like to keep my wits about me. But regardless, it's not part of my religious following. So
the food is served and laid out in front of you. At this point, do any of you eat food?
I'm watching. I'm watching Bjorn after he's consumed some wine. What am I observing here?
How much wine have you consumed, Bjorn? How many glasses would you say?
How many trips has the tray came?
As many as you want. As many as you want.
I'd say probably like 5 glasses of wine so far.
All right, roll a Constitution save.
All right.
Me or him?
No, him.
Bjorn.
How drunk he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good. Yeah, you're holding your own. You're starting to feel a little loose, but you're holding your own. And the more you have, the more this woman next to you starts to become more and more attractive. But you don't. Mara, go ahead and roll a perception check. Nice. So, Bjorn, she looks over at you to kind of gauge. You're gauging like his condition from the wine. Is that what you're doing, Mara, and the food?
Yeah.
Okay. What does she see, Bjorn, when she looks over at you?
Just rosy cheeks a little bit. Nothing to, I'm not like stuttering or the effects of how much I drank isn't really showing at all. And in my I can't think of the right word of just looking at me. So
he looks like he's holding his own. No, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yep, not really getting fazed by how much I've been drinking.
Okay.
But I'll willingly grab food. I'll start, grabbing the pork and stuff like that. Just being the slobby dwarf I am. So
okay.
Just straight fingers onto the platter, just grabbing it.
So let's see.
I'm going. I will eat a little bit of pork. I'm eating very, very sparingly. I'm not going to outright refuse, but I'm also going to try and keep I keep running that thought about accepting gifts in the back of my head, and so I'm trying to be frugal with what I'm taking.
Corben, where are you sitting relative to everybody else?
I guess I don't know the layout of where everybody's sitting.
You'd probably be on the north side of the table, so you'd either be in the middle of the table or closer to Strahd.
Where is everybody else?
So Strahd's on the far
the
side of the
west side?
table. Yep. Ludmilla is on the other end of the long table.
Okay.
Mara is right next to Ludmilla on one side. Bjorn is on the other side of Ludmilla. Next to Bjorn is Sasha, so Sasha's one place closer to Strahd. Escher is on that same side of the table, but all the way down next to Strahd.
I'll be sitting next to Sasha's. Oh, so Bjorn is between Sasha and Ludmilla.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sitting next to Mara then.
Okay. So you're like in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
Corben. Okay.
I don't know. How big is this table?
It is 15 feet long.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So like towards the middle.
Okay. Everybody roll a wisdom saving throw for me, and you do get the +5 from Corben.
Is this again regarding a possible?
Yeah, you would have
charming
advantage.
Effect. Okay.
You would have advantage. Wow, nice rolls. Holy shit.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. So dinner continues, and Strahd continues to sort of ask you questions. You get this. You can, as you sort of watch him, you notice that he's not touching the food at all. He doesn't seem to be eating, but he's drinking quite a bit of wine from his goblet. Bjorn is eating. The others, Ludmilla and Escher and Sasha, are eating. He seems to maybe be kind of just pushing the food around on his plate a little bit, not super interested in it. But he looks at you.
Sir, are you not enjoying your own banquet, sir?
I am not very hungry, it seems. But are you enjoying it? I hope.
It's
I had
delicious, thank you.
Made specifically in your honor as my guests. If it is not good, I will have words with the chef.
Oh, it's delicious and definitely not direwolf.
No, this is much better. Tell me, have you been eating wolves? Is that what you've been eating while you've been here? Oh, I'm so sorry. That is terrible.
We hunt. We hunt. We eat what we hunt, sir. We don't leave things to waste.
I suppose. Well, tell me, Corben, Sir Brindel, what do you hope to accomplish while you are here in Barovia? You are a man of religious faith, it would appear. What has your faith told you about this place?
You're familiar with the Forest Father, Sylvanus?
Not very much. Please tell me a little bit about him. I'm very curious to know what people's beliefs are.
Well, he's a god of the wilderness and the forest.
Yes.
He has pervasive influence, you could say.
Yes, I
I
can relate.
Are you a religious man?
I have found, for me, religion to be not useful. But I do not, as I mentioned, begrudge anyone of their faith. In fact, I would say that I appreciate that people have something to believe in. It is a sad existence when you have nothing to look forward to, nothing to strive for, nothing to fight for. Would you agree?
I could agree with that.
And tell me, now that you have relit the beacon of Argynvost, what do you fight for now?
I guess that's a pretty good question. Hadn't
Yes,
considered it too much.
that's why I asked it.
Well, I did come here looking for Argenvostholt.
Ah,
Uh,
so you have completed your quest then?
You could say that. Perhaps.
Hmm.
I don't know if I was really on a quest. It was more like the quest found me.
Ah, very
Just like
interesting.
I eventually found Argenvost Holt.
Yes, this place seems to draw people towards it for one reason or another. Those who fight are oftentimes disappointed in the results. But you have done well for yourselves. I, of course, acknowledge that you have lost some of members of your party, which is unfortunate. But the three of you live, perhaps to continue your quest.
Strahd, what
Please.
is your quest?
My quest. He kind of looks up. I seek to find my true love. I have told you of this before,
Yes.
Mara.
Yes.
I have given you the task of helping me to find my beloved Tatiana. And while you have not made much progress, as we shall say, in this quest, I have.
Oh, do tell.
He looks around as you sort of have finished your meals, and he snaps his fingers. And Escher and Sasha get up from their spots and start clearing the table, moving things out of the room. My story is a ghost story, Mara. Told in an age of eternal life. With immense power. I have conquered death. But with endless future comes endless past. I am trailed by specters. Twisted apparitions. Born from my deepest pain. Until sometimes I desire to enter oblivion. To fade into history. To hide from my ghosts. It is not possible. To stay alive long enough. There's nowhere that you can go that isn't haunted. Of course, all of us have ghosts, but they cling to us like shadows. But if you chase after shadows, Mara, if you're foolish enough to seek out your ghosts, you run the risk of becoming one yourself. For many years I have sought my beloved Tatiana, to find her, to be reunited with her, to feel her love, to give her mine. That is my quest, and that is why I have brought you all here tonight. Yes, I know that you seek, as you mentioned, Mara, to leave this place. Let us now turn to business, shall we?
I think that's a great idea.
I have learned information that could be of use in your quest to help me find Tatiana. She is inaccessible to me for some strange reason. I cannot sense her presence. I cannot know where she is. But I know who she's with. And it is this person that I am going to ask you to track down. If you would do, Mara, Corben, and even Bjorn, I will personally guarantee your safe passage through the mists back to the land from whence you came. If you do not, I fear that you will be forever trapped here, either in your physical body or, more likely, after death, your souls will linger in the mists, as do the souls of your friends who fell in battle in the swamps of Berez. That is my proposal to you. Your freedom for a simple task of bringing my beloved Tatiana to Castle Ravenloft so that our love may be reunited.
Who is she with?
Yes. She is with someone that you know. She is with the one they call Esmeralda. I know this from my agents in the valley, but I do not know where they are. Again, I cannot sense their presence, which is troubling. If you and your companions, able as you are, if you find this Esmeralda and free Tatiana from her by whatever means necessary, bring Tatiana to me so we may be reunited. You shall be set free. I give you my word as a warrior, as a knight, as a leader of this land.
Strahd, I take you at your word. You've been good to your word thus far. I have a question, and I don't want you to take offense. I'm truly curious. What if Tatiana does not want to come with us? What if she doesn't want to come here? What then?
I believe that she is being held against her will by this ne'er-do-well, this hunter of monsters. She will come to me. It is her destiny. When you bring her to me, I will ask her to take my hand in marriage. If she accepts, well, that will be wondrous. If she does not accept, I will honor that decision as well. But she should have the opportunity to hear to experience my love, to know my love for her, to know how great my feelings are for her. That is all I wish. She can make her own decisions. My happiness, the fulfillment of my heart's desire, hinges on her acceptance of that love. Not a forced love, but one of acceptance. Do you understand?
I do.
Very well. So then, he looks at the three of you. Do you accept my proposal? Your freedom from this land? What you desire? In exchange for bringing Tatiana to me, regardless of the cost to this Esmeralda.
Cricket. Cricket. What will you do once you've married Tatiana, or not married? What happens to the rest of the people of Bavaria or Barovia? Sorry.
The people of Barovia, they will rebuild what has been destroyed. They will recover from their losses. I will help them to regain a footing, but life will go on for these people. As it always has.
In the mists, amongst the undead in the mists, that's no life, sir.
That is the life that they have. That, my friends, is beyond my decision.
You were led to believe that it was all your decision.
Well, the decision of whether or not you are able to leave this place certainly is. The fate of the people of Barovia, well, that is in their hands.
Do not control the undead, the werewolves, those that prey on people just trying to live their lives. Is that not under your purview, sir?
I have influence, yes, of course. This is my domain. I am the Lord of Barovia.
And what about the mists? No sunlight. No
The
joy.
mists are another matter entirely. But the deal we are discussing is not for some sort of salvation for the people of this land. They have lived here for centuries, many of them longer than that. This is their home. To try to convince them to leave this place would be a waste of your time. But I can tell you this, that my union with Tatiana, if she so desires, would be a great boon for the valley. It will be a decision that you will have to make to decide how important it is for you to return to your own families. That is what I offer.
And what happens if we're not able to find Esmeralda?
You will
Everything
find
that
her.
every person that we came across, that we've come across thus far has not been on purpose. It's been who we've stumbled upon as we've been crossing this land, trying to find our way to the edge of the mist.
I believe your words, but I also know that you have already made an acquaintance with this Esmeralda.
Yes, and she left and she didn't tell us where she was going.
Are you sure of that?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll a deception check.
You can't lie to your lover, Mara.
Mara. Please, do not take me for a fool. I have reliable information that you have spent time with this one. The werewolf's den, for example.
I don't deny that.
I believe you know where she is. That is why I've called you here, believe me. If I didn't think you were useful, I would have killed you already.
Well, friends, what do you say?
And if we refuse your offer to help?
You will die. Maybe not here and tonight. I would not kill you after inviting you to my place. But you will die in the valley, and you will never be able to leave. That is an unfortunate fate. Think of all the creatures that you will be unable to vanquish. All the glory that you and your group will not be able to earn. To take back to your peoples.
We are not here to gain glory. That's not what we are here for.
That may be true for you, Mara.
Then I'll.
But
Bjorn will choke a little bit.
What say you, Mr. Ironhide? Would you die in the mists of Barovia for nothing? Or would you seek glory and honor for your clan?
Bjorn will turn to Mara. I see no choice but to heed his words and find this Esmeralda. I'm not gonna stay here and die in this place, as he says. It's like I have a bigger mission than that. I say we help him.
And you, Corben, Sir Brindel, of the Order of the Silver Dragon, do you seek to bide your time here in Barovia until you grow old? Or would you like to move on to other things?
I would like to move on. I guess the only thought I have is perhaps, and I don't mean to offend you, but how do we know that you can free us from this valley?
I have given you my word.
You have control over the mists?
I have the ability to release you from this place.
Well, I certainly won't deliver anybody that doesn't want to come here.
I'm in agreement. I couldn't in good conscience bring somebody here who doesn't want to come here. Strahd, I hope you can understand that.
If this Tatiana doesn't want to come.
She will come. It is her destiny to hear my proposal.
Then it sounds like we should find her. Is that right? Can I look at the two of you guys?
I'm okay with that.
Mara, your friends have accepted my offer. Will you be joining them?
I'll join them, sir. I will join them. I'm going to ask her before we bring her here. I won't bring somebody against their will. I can't. You said that you respected our beliefs and our faith, and my faith would not allow me to do that, sir.
Very well. I accept these terms. Once you find Tatiana and you free her from this wretched Esmeralda, I will find you. We will have the conversation. You will not need to bring her to me. We are in agreement then.
I do have one more condition. If you would grant that, if Esmeralda releases her without dispute, that you will leave her unharmed.
This I cannot guarantee. But
If she really-
I will tell you this. I will not strike the first blow against this Esmeralda, but I know why she's here. I know very well why she's here. So, we are in agreement then. Let us
Okay.
seal the agreement with a toast. To you, champions of Barovia, who have vanquished the evils of the werewolf den, who have put to rest the corrupted host of Argynvost, to a agreement to your health. He takes another drink of his goblet. And he stands up and he says, I thank you for joining me here this evening. It is a dark and stormy night in Barovia. I would extend to you the invitation to stay here this evening to rest, if you would like that. If not, I will prepare the carriage for you to take you anywhere you would like to go in the valley. I will leave this up to you. It was a pleasure having the opportunity to dine with you and speak freely without threat of violence or alternative motives. I wish you the best of luck in finding Tatiana. Your lives literally depend upon it. Good evening. And with that, he gets up and does like a kind of a cloak kind of pull around and walks out. Rahadin opens the door for him and he walks out, and Sasha pours another goblet of wine for Bjorn, and Escher walks over to the corner and he grabs a lyre and he starts plucking a lyre and starts playing a little after dinner song. And Sasha urges you, Bjorn, to get up. She kind of pulls you up. Do you go with her out of the chair? Come dance with me. Roll a wisdom save.
+5.
Wow.
Oh!
All right. She kind of tugs at you. Come dance with me.
I think it's time to go.
Yeah, I think we might get going.
I'm staring at you, Bjorn. I'm staring at you.
You rolled a natural 20.
Yep.
But it's up to you.
It's like, sorry, but it is time for us to part.
Oh,
Like,
you've broken my heart. Well, perhaps next time you visit, we shall dance.
till next time, then I'll grab her hand and I'll kiss it. Just rub my little scruffy little beard next to it too as I'm
Nice.
going down the.
Okay, so are you guys going to take him up on the offer of the carriage ride? Or are you going to stay the night?
Yeah, no, I
don't want to stay.
I want out.
I kind of want to stay the night. I got a good thing going on here.
I want out, and I want to have a place to chat
Discuss.
with my friends. I want out. Yeah.
Do you guys want to take a tour of the castle by any chance?
It's getting late.
A
I think
tour?
it's time to.
Sasha kind of perks up a little bit.
Like, I mean, we're here for now, and we're still guests. It is pretty stormy out. What do you guys think?
You look over at the door, and Rahadin's standing there, and he's just kind of quiet, listening to you, and he says, "Would you like me to prepare the carriage or the quarters for you?"
Dave, I'm just gonna use my divine sense.
Yeah.
Does he read as one of them? Rahadin?
Remind me what Divine Sense does specifically.
Presence of strong evil registers like in your senses like noxious odor. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces. You can know if they are celestial, fiend, or undead.
Sure. Roll a
Within-
Constitution save for me.
Because of the smell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
19.
Once you channel this Divine Sense ability, and the whole room it just instantly smells like rotting flesh and like an old trash pile that just stinks, and you fight back nausea as you try to hold down your dinner. It's terrible. It's like it upsets your stomach. You don't quite vomit, you hold it back, but it's terrible. And let's see. He is not undead.
Okay.
But you get a sense of great evil from him.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep.
So Bjorn's looking at you guys. So just basically,
I-
he was saying, "Hey, do you guys want to do a tour while we're here still, or?"
I think
Corbin's dry heaving.
I think Corben is feeling ill. We need to go.
Very well, I will prepare the carriage for you then. And he walks out of the room.
Yeah, I think we should go.
Escher,
Get an early start.
Escher puts his lyre down and says, "It was really nice having you here. I wish that you didn't have to leave so soon, but I understand that the master has given you an important job to do, and well, I wish you the best of luck." And he sort of, does the thing where he's sort of gesturing for you all to get up and walk out of the room. He's kind of like, "All right, let's go." And Sasha grabs your arm, Bjorn, and kind of walks you out into the grand hall, the grand entry. And you look up and you see the gargoyles posed up on this at sort of the rim of this domed ceiling. And you stand there for a moment, and she gives you a peck on the cheek. And then she and Escher bow. They do kind of this flourish like bow to you and say, "Until next time, my friends." And he smiles. She doesn't smile, but he smiles, and you can see his fangs again, not really trying to hide anything. And they walk back up the grand staircase and disappear into the darkness. You don't hear a single step of their feet on the stone floor. And Rahadin turns to you and says, "The carriage is ready for you then." And he opens the main door, and you can hear the thunder and lightning. And you walk out and you see the carriage waiting there. And as you start to approach, the door just goes and opens again for you, invitingly. Rahadin just says, as you're about to walk out, he says, "Where shall I have the carriage take you?"
Can it take us to the Vistani camp?
Where is the Vistani camp?
Oh,
Is
maybe
that
to.
Past
Which
Valakai?
one? The one by Valakai, or
Yeah.
there are more than one camp? We can take you to the gates of Valakai. Perhaps that would be
Like the outskirts of Valakai. Let's
Yes.
not go right up to the front door. In this
No.
carriage.
Yes, we can get you close. There is no road directly to the encampment, but we will get you close. Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
To the Svalish Road, maybe?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Your passage will be safe. I bid you
Thank you.
farewell. And he kind of closes the door and that's the end of that. Now you just feel cold, and the wind is howling, and the carriage is sitting in front of you. Do you get in?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we should just get in, get out of here.
Okay. So the three of you pile into the carriage. The door closes. The horses snort and they rear up, and then they just take off into the night and heading you back towards Valakai, winding their way through the mountainous roads and back towards some semblance of civilization. And that's where we'll go ahead and end tonight's session. You guys have survived dinner with Strahd. Congratulations.
Yep.
Cheers.
And 3 other vampires, plus some other.
As
kind
we're
of-
as we're leaving, like Bjorn's like, man, I really started liking that place. Too bad we're gonna have to kill them all.
And meanwhile, I'm digging in my bag. I'm grabbing all my my warm winter stuff. I'm like putting it on over my clothes, and it's cold out.
Nice job, guys. See, Andy, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be.
No. And it was a little enlightening too, because it sounds like he's hell bent on finding her, no matter who we are or what we're doing.
Yep, we got a little
Interesting.
little pull. So we find her, we hide her, and we
Well,
get a bag of
We will,
holding.
we will,
it's something to think about.
we will be discussing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens if we killed her? And he wants, a little plot twist here.
Is this is this a conversation you're having in the carriage, or is this out of character?
This is out of character.
All right.
No, no,
Total. Yeah.
No. I don't think we should
All right.
discuss inside this carriage what we plan on doing.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah. This is all after the game. We've already ended our session, so whatever we talk about now is not part of the actual game.
Yep.
That was great, guys. Nice
Zoink,
job.
Shaggy.
Yeah.
Oy, 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 oy.
It was
That was,
enlightening.
Fun little experience.
Mm-hmm. Dinner with Strahd.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I mean,
Yeah, you want to do it again?
some good food, some good
Nobody
wine,
died.
some ambiance.
It's the first
No.
session
Yeah,
we've
nobody
had.
died.
Nobody
Yeah.
was physically consumed in front of our eyes.
Well,
At
you
least-
got
at
you
least-
got
well,
to
we
think.
don't really know.
You have to realize that Strahd is. I mean, he's an honorable warrior. He was a general. He was a. He invited you into his home. He's not going to invite you in and then slaughter you. But I mean, your characters would definitely be nervous about that. You
yeah.
guys,
My
and you
character
guys,
was.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, with a caveat.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
It
Nice
was
job.
nerve-wracking.
Yep.
Felt like I
Well,
was
you were
going through a
dancing.
minefield.
Mara was dancing around the truth on some of those questions.
I know.
Well, I'm telling
Which was
you,
great.
I truly, honestly do not remember what Madam even said. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my notes because I
Yeah,
do
but
not remember.
Mara would.
That was
Mara would have. That's why I made you roll for deception,
Deception.
because she
Yeah.
would have remembered what
Which you
Madam
rolled
would've
like,
said.
wasn't it like a 4 or
Yeah,
something?
it wasn't
Yeah.
good. It wasn't good.
after I was rolling like 18, 19, 20 all game, and it's like
I
the
know.
one time I
I know.
really needed that number. It was like, son
Yeah.
of a gun.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun. Well, great job, guys. That was super fun. For anybody who might be watching this on YouTube later, let's just kind of wave and say thank you for joining us. We're gonna sign off here. We'll see you next time, everybody. Cheers.